hindi naman lahat ng nakaka-experience ng negative na mga climate change outcomes, post-traumatic stress na yung na-experience nila. So yung stressor, it's either it's on a positive or it's on a negative. May mga tao, although they undergo traumatic experience, pero despite of that, they use it as a fuel or motivation. Yun yung tinatawag, sir, na post-traumatic growth. May mga misconceptions, I think, also. Kasi sabi ng iba, ay, yung post-traumatic growth, parang similar din lang ng concept ng resilience.
Magandang araw mga kapwa-siyentista at welcome sa isa na namang episode ng Behind the Science podcast. So ang guest natin ngayon is a registered nurse and a licensed professional teacher and a clinical instructor at the West Visayas State University College of Nursing. He finished his Bachelor of Science in Nursing from the University of Southern Philippines Foundation in Cebu. He also obtained his Master of Arts in Education, majoring in Teaching Biology and Administration and Supervision from Cebu Technological University, where he also obtained his doctorate in Development Education. And currently, he is pursuing his third master's degree, so Master in Nursing Education from University of the Philippines. So without further ado, let's all welcome Dr. Resty Tito Villarino.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, Sir Paul, for the invitation. So I'm so excited na participate for this podcast.
Para sa mga first-time viewers dito, second topic na ito na tungkol sa mental health yung pag-uusapan natin. So this episode, pag-uusapan natin is yung climate change and mental health. And pwede nyong balikan yung previous episode namin, episode 45. Ang pinag-usapan naman namin doon is about telepsychiatry. So nag-invite kami ng mga doctors from the Southern Philippines Medical Center sa Davao City. At dalawang papers actually yung pinag-usapan namin doon. So tungkol sa telepsychiatry to improve your mental health. At yung second paper ay acceptability ng telepsychiatry sa mga OFW natin sa Kuwait. Tapos, yung episode na yon ay in partnership with the Philippine Journal of Science. So, kung interested kayo sa topic na yon, please check it out. Ngayon, magfo-focus naman tayo dito sa sa paper ni Sir Resty. And the usual, bago natin yon puntahan, alamin natin yung journey niya kung paano siya naging isang scientist. So, the usual first question po, Sir Resty, kailan nyo na-realize na gusto nyo maging isang scientist or healthcare professional?
Actually, sir, hindi talaga scientist yung first na gusto ko. No? Actually, gusto ko maging pari dati. So, in fact, after I finished elementary, I studied in the seminary for my high school. And then, after I graduated from high school, I was not certain to proceed sa college sa seminary. So I decided na gusto ko sanang off muna ng 1 year para mag-discern kung ano ba talagang gusto kong gawin sa buhay ko. However, yung tatay ko, yes. However, yung tatay ko, especially both of my parents are educator. So they are also influential to me personally. So my father told me that sayang naman kung hindi ako mag-aaral for a year. Kasi yung gagawin ko lang is just to discern to proceed sa seminaries for college. So yun, wala akong ibang course na available at that time because it was already around in the middle of May. So magka-class na magsa-start around June. So ang nangyari doon is that may parang kaklase ng mother ko before sa masters. Yung kinuha din niya is master education pero nurse, she's a clinical instructor dati sa Cebu din na university. And then sabi niya na ano ka na lang mag-nursing at least i-try mo lang, no, baka magustuhan mo, parang ganyan. So yun, parang I agree, no, sa decision nila. And sabi ko din naman, sige, why not, 'di ba? I think may connection din naman yung nursing na profession with walang philosophical na discernment on my end. So I started taking the nursing course, no? However, especially during the first year, parang ayaw ko na nun kasi parang nahihirapan ako sa ibang subjects. Specifically sa mga major doon, no? Yung anatomy and physiology,
Hmm.
tsaka yung pharmacology. Pero ayun, tinuloy ko lang, no? Hanggang hindi ko na malaya, natapos ko rin. And then after that, I work in the hospital back in Cebu, and I was assigned in medical surgical nursing, tsaka may psychiatric ward. Parang combination siya. It's in the ground floor. So usually yung mga psychiatric patients namin sa hospital, doon na ilagay sa ward namin. At the same time, after 2+ years sa ward, I was transferred sa cardiovascular laboratory. So I worked there for almost 2 years plus then. And then I get married, and then that was the time that there was an opportunity kasi parang sa time namin yun parang humina yung ng nursing, no, abroad. So we
Ah.
decided with my wife to take the certificate for professional education.
Hmm.
And then at that time parang sabi ko, parang ito yung kahit hindi ako naging pare, pero at least parang malapit din sa gusto ko talaga, di ba? You're preaching, but at the same time, although it's not on focus on the religious aspect, but I find it na very relevant din sa original na gusto ko, which is to become a priest, which nag-transcend siya into classroom teaching. So at that time, we thought in the hindi pa yung nursing dati. So on my end, parang sa research, I think it started na, di ba, may time yon sa shift during na may senior high school. And
Hmm.
I was assigned dun sa senior high school na subject na practical research. Actually, yung sa research, hindi talaga din ako hilig ng research dati, both
Hmm.
in the undergrad, no. However, nung nag-teach na ako, I realized pala na maganda pala ang research, no.
Yes.
Ah, parang I thought it was complex, but as a teacher, wala ka talagang magawa. So you really have to study and try to really have a grasp, no, or capture talaga yung overall ng concept ng research. And then from that on, naging ano ko na siya, naging love ko na yung research. Specifically doon sa critical thinking aspect, no, on the reasoning part ng mga estudyante, specifically yung mga impact na mga nagawa nila, no, kahit yung mga action research na ginagawa nila dati, tsaka na-appreciate nila as well yung sa community kung din sila nag-conduct ng research. Eh dun, parang tuloy-tuloy na rin yun. And I think yung parang major, yung parang naka-help talaga sa akin is yung natanggap ako for Canada ASEAN Research Scholarship. And it was during the peak of the pandemic. So I thought that hindi na yun matuloy. Pero parang na-surprise ako na it will continue. And yeah, I stayed in Montreal. Supposedly it was only for 6 months. But it was extended until 8 months hanggang naka-uwi talaga ako dito sa Cebu at time. And then from there on, doon na, yung parang tuloy-tuloy na yung ano ko, yung love ko sa research. Ayun.
Yung ano pala sir, yung nursing, curious ako kasi 'di ba ano, madaming ibang specialization yung healthcare. Meron kang
Oo.
nursing, medtech, tapos puwede kang maging doktor.
Oo.
So kapag pino-pursue niyo po yung mga ganitong career track or mga course sa college, may mga subjects ba na ano, magkakasama kayo or ano-ano yung mga subjects na yun, and then at what point dun sa college years, kumbaga parang nagse-separate into different specializations?
Okay. Actually sir, before I work in the hospital, kasi while waiting na matanggap ako dun sa hospital na in-applyan ko at that time, nag-enroll ako dun sa isang nursing university sa Cebu. Pero actually dati na, parang ano talaga ako sa psychiatric nursing. Specifically yung mga issues talaga. Dati pa kahit hindi pa naging mainstream yung or mga mental health challenges, no, yung
Mm.
mga stigma about it. Parang dati pa, even during my undergrad, and I think it was also brought about sa discipline namin dati sa seminaryo, yung therapeutic communication, yung mga principles na nakukuha namin sa psychiatric nursing is the same principle that applied yung how to communicate, how to organize people, parang ganyan. So yun, parang napagpatuloy ko na lang yun. And at that time, while waiting, was able to finish one semester. At that time, kinuha ko yung psychiatric nursing. However, hindi ko natapos. Natapos ko lang yung isang semester. Pero after that, doon na ako nag-work na ako sa hospital. Pero blessing in disguise kasi doon sa ward na na-assign ako, may mga psychiatric cases din na mga nangyayari.
Diyan pala sir, curious ako. Kasi sinabi mo na before pa na parang hindi ko alam kung anong tamang term, nag-boom or parang na-popularize yung mental health
Oo.
na ano, doon na kayo sa field of specialization na yun. Ano yung mga napansin nyo over the years sa mga patients seeking for ano, for help sa mga
Um,
ganitong issue?
Yun talaga sir, kasi usually, especially for Filipinos, yung concept of mental health, parang tabu talaga yun, di ba? Uh, Not only
Parang may
na,
notion na
I don't,
baliw ka na.
oo, parang ganyan. And even in social media, di ba, may mga times na pinopost nila yung mga taong may mga mentally health challenge, pero parang pinagkakatuwaan sa social media, parang ganyan. Which in fact, although sabi nila na nakakatakot yung mga taong may mentally may challenge sa mental health nila, pero if even sa studies it proved that it's the other way around, mas vulnerable pa sila compared sa mga taong without aberrations. Parang ganyan. So even up to now, I think it's still a struggle in the Philippines despite having our mental health na comprehensive na law, but still yung stigma even in the academe, it's still a taboo. But I think what I notice, especially right now, especially with the new generation ng mga bata, parang ito din yung mga nakita ko na parang may hairline distinction, kasi yung iba parang ginagamit na lang nila na just a form of reason, yung parang ganyan. Parang gusto ko sabihin na kung alam mo lang kung ano talaga yung taong mentally challenged, hindi ganyan. Or in the first place.
Yan actually sir ang follow-up question ko sa'yo. What does it mean? Yung kapag sinabing may mental health disorder ka, what does it actually mean? Kasi nga binanggit mo nga parang ngayon ginagamit na lang siya very loosely. May technical definition ba yung ano, mental health disorder? Or
Okay. Regarding dun sa mga concept ng mental health disorder, if i-base natin siya by the book, no? So may mga guidelines na fina-follow na andyan dun sa DSM-5. Um, well, in our case, especially dito sa Philippines, I think there is still a need to ano ba yan sabihin? Not only on the aspect of mental health awareness na aspect na i-improve, kundi yung parang sinabi mo na parang contextual na definition, no? Specifically sa level natin. Kasi parang ito din yung parang nakita ko na difference when we talk about the definition of mental health disorder. Kasi yung sa Canada, parang na-surprise ako doon. Kasi sa kanila, parang I was surprised that the definition of mental health disorder is kung i-put it into contextualization sa atin dito sa Pilipinas, sometimes hindi siya mag-fit because of our cultural differences. So, yun parang first na ano ko, nakita ko na uh, in defining mental health disorder, I think it's important also that we have to consider the cultural context Kasi may mga maraming ako sir personally nakita ko talaga na personal experience na parang may standardized tool na ginawa galing sa first world country tsaka ginamit dito sa Pilipinas tsaka yung mga participants mga Pinoy. Ang problem kahit yung sa pagkaintindi natin ng mental health disorder, hindi siya mag-fit. Pero since ang ginamit natin is ang standard of definition from mental health disorder from first definition of first world country, parang lumabas tayo na we find it just normal behavior but because of their definition, lumabas tayo na may mental health disorder. Parang ganyan, specifically sa aspect sa cultural. O kasi ang isa na makita ko dito is yung concept ng Western concept of ano ba yung tawag doon? Yung hiya na concept, 'di ba? Sa
Ah,
atin, may times na although gusto nating sabihin yung mga bagay-bagay just to loosen up or para malabas yung mga sama ng loob, ganyan. May times tayo na hindi naman na we don't want to get help but it's our cultural value of hiya.
mm,
That's why na we try to keep it to ourselves. However, sa kanila, parang they already defined it as a form of aberration, no? You're trying not to open up about how you feel, no? Specifically sa individualistic nature ng culture nila. Yun, so so yun yung parang nakita ko din na parang gaps din currently in our definition of mental health disorder na parang it's sana there will be more researchers that especially for us no in the Philippines to really have this resource sharing not only in the Philippines alone but specifically in other regions in Southeast Asia. May although may mga similar tayo na mga cultural values so maybe we can work on that rather than having the concept of medical health disorder defined by the context sa mga first world countries.
mm. Actually, diyan din pala sir, may dagdag ako na side comment. Hindi ko matandaan kailan nangyari 'to, basta parang naging viral yung topic na ano, yung PWD-ID, bakit
Oo.
sinasama yung ano, yung mental health disorder doon na hindi mo nakikita na I mean, 'di ba kapag PWD like for example, pilay, kita mo yung ano niya,
Kita ka talaga.
kita mo yung sakit niya, pero yung iba na may mental health disorder, hindi siya kita and then may PWD ID.
Oo. Yeah, actually, sir, I do agree on that, sir. I think that what makes mental health not merely separate from the concept of physical health, no? Tanga ng World Health Organization, there is no health without mental health. Pero sa kasamaang palad, ang what you call this, yung mga mental health disorders natin or yung mga mental health challenges, ito yung mga symptoms na hindi natin makikita through the naked eye, no? Ito yung mga simptomas na parang ang hirap i-describe kasi parang first culturally anchor ko lang yung sa cultural values natin yung hiya no. Gusto ko sanang mag-open up, ilabas ko yung sama ng loob ko sa isang tao pero I rather to keep it to myself because hindi ko alam baka hindi na niya ako papansinin or baka magka-cross yung relationship namin. Yung parang ganyan na mga aspect. So sometimes I think that is also the problem with us Filipinos is yung ang connection mo sasabihin mo yan sir na sa PWD yung iba magsasabi na ano ba yan? Parang ano lang yan, wala, hindi naman yan nakikita, di ba? Parang ano lang
Mm,
yan, nasa isip mo lang yan, di ba? Parang ganyan.
ah,
Or sometimes kahit kita mismo or even yung mga family members natin or even yung mga significant others, sila pa yung parang nagda-down sa atin, no? Sila pa yung nagsasabi na ano ka lang, kulang ka lang ng prayers, no? Hindi lang malakas
mm,
yung pananampalataya mo or parang ano ka lang, parang weak ka lang, no? nasa isip mo lang yan. Especially sa value natin ng resilience. Parang ito din yung parang downside, no? Parang naging concept ng resilience, parang naging continuum na siya. So resilience is either on the positive note or on the negative note. Kasi parang because of the resilience value natin, yung parang sinasabi na, huwag kang ganyan, no? Para lang yan sa mga mahihirap. Or in some, sabi nila, yung mga sakit na ganyan, on mental health issues, para lang yan sa mga mayayaman. Yung parang mga ganyan. So, yung concept ng mental health, parang it really transcends. It's not only on the physical symptoms alone, but even our, no? As a Filipino, no? Yung parang isa din yung nakaka-add ng uh, challenges in the definition of a Filipino mental health disorder. Regarding that, yun kasi talaga totoo talaga yan, sir. Kaya nga parang yung iba they hesitate na ano ba yung tawag natin dito, yung parang especially for us Filipinos, may mga studies na conducted that prove that Filipinos would like to ask for help specifically in the aspect of mental health issues. However, they try to yung parang sinasabi nila na health seeking behavior. For example, kung may mga nafi-feel ako, like for example sa physical health or physical symptoms, um, mataas yung blood sugar ko, mataas yung blood pressure ko. So I think magpa-check up na ako ng doktor, 'di ba? Madali lang 'yun. Walang problema, 'di ba? Even our rural health unit, sasabi lang sila na, sige, punta ka lang doon sa health center. Yan, para matignan. Tsaka especially yung sa mga senior citizens natin, no? Kasi ito yung parang nakikita ko din, at least the good thing sa atin na ginagawa, na some of the projects in our Department of Health is they provide free medication for a month, specifically for those who are in the geographically isolated areas. So if you are diagnosed with hypertension or diabetes, you're provided with medicine, and then RHU, or they develop this mga hypertension club or diabetic club, and then you will be taken care of by the rural health nurses, no, together with the local government units. On the contrary, sa mental health, parang ang hirap. Kasi first is
Yung gamot
yung
ba dun,
referral.
sir, ano siya? Yung gamot ba dun parang katulad sa mga gamot na halimbawa 'pag may ubo ka inumin mo after ilang takes, after ilang hours nawawala yung ubo mo, in the case ng mental
Ah,
health, ganun din ba yung mga gamot or hindi?
Actually, sir, I think yun din yung reason na some of the people na may misconception with regarding to ano. It's also similar with ano, sir, having a chronic condition like for example, your hypertension, or kung may diabetes ka. It doesn't mean that you will have to take your metoprolol today, no? Or you will just only take your maintenance medication when you have, or you can experience the symptoms, then bukas kung wala na. So hindi I think you're referring to medication like yung mga ano lang, yung mga over the counter, like for example yung sa lagnat, no? You can take paracetamol, bukas wala na. In the case of mental health, it's more on really similar with hypertension and diabetes, wherein once you have your um, maintenance medication, you really have to continue. But however, may mga instances din na hindi naman need mag-take ng medication. Some of those individuals with mental health aberration, they can undergo mga psychotherapy or CBT na mga treatment, no? So there is parang ano ba yun? Parang there is no one size fits all approach in regards to management of mental health problems. Pero I think ang problem lang talaga is yung how can we yung parang ma-encourage yung mga tao na to see it not necessarily na normalcy, no? In fact, right now yung nakita ko parang yung iba parang inaabuso na lang, no?
Oo,
Parang
Parang
Yun
ginawang
na lang yung parang,
personality na yung ano,
oo.
yung mental health.
Kung titignan
Napapansin ko
mo,
din 'yan.
talaga sir, I agree. Yun yung din yung parang downside of it.
Kaya 'yan din yung napapansin ko, like for example sa mga ang daming podcast sa Pilipinas na they talk about mental health. Pero minsan napapaisip ako, may ano ka ba, parang may authority ka ba to talk about that, na parang kung ano-anong advice yung
Anyway, yung
binibigay mo,
sinasabi mo, oo.
yung sinasabi
Actually
mo sa
sir,
internet.
I think that really adds to the problem, no? So I'm glad that we have this type of platform wherein people. No, I'm not saying that it should only be on the academics ang power alone, but I think the downside of that, um, parang yung parang bandwagon, no? Alam nila na
Oo.
doon yung parang nagtitrend. So kahit hindi nila yun, instead of helping people, they add to the problem, no? They become more of a liability. And yes,
Hmm.
sir, I do agree on that one. So I think the type of podcast, I think this is the time na parang i-progress pa talaga to, no? For more um, researchers, scientists who can really provide not necessarily the correct information, but the ones that are really evidence based, na hindi lang yung parang kita lang nila or nabasa lang nila or binigay lang ni ChatGPT tsaka automatic na parang parang self-help. Yung sir,
Ah,
yun yung parang problem din talaga, especially with the rampant na mga self-help or ganito, ganyan. Yeah, they become more of a liability rather than helping the people.
kailangan na rin parang suriin mo na rin yung mga pinapanood mo online.
Agree, sir.
Ayun, so since lumalalim na yung discussion natin about mental health, tapos kanina nabanggit na rin ni Sir yung resilience, siguro punta na natin yung paper niya. So ang title nito is A Systematic Review of Mental Health and Climate Change in the Philippines. So sir, bago natin to i-discuss in detail, can you briefly explain muna what this paper is all about in one sentence?
Okay, so actually sir, ang naka-conceptualize ito because this was my research output when I have my research scholarship sa Montreal, and this was conceptualized me together with my advisor who is French. Um, his focus is mostly on health behaviors, and then at that time, since it's pandemic, we planned at first to do a experimental research. However, because of the time allotted, no, parang mauubos na yung time for ethics review, plus there was an introduction of a mental health program on the original plan. Sabi niya, it will be very possible for us to have it just within 6 months. So, yun yung sabi niya is that currently ang hindi talaga parang I think we are the first one. Pero may mga researches din naman that not necessarily that talks about climate change. Parang more on mental health concepts, either aberrations or on the positive mental health context with disaster. So yun yung parang first namin na parang chinek. So yun yung parang nakita namin, I think um, just to summarize lang, in one sentence, parang we try to, parang naipakita namin na yung mga climate change outcomes, kasi by definition dito, gusto lang din namin i-clarify that although when you talk about climate change, di ba yung ano niya, it's something that is long term, and that is also something na uh, long term and then frequently nangyayari, no, ng mga natural events, no. And it was very difficult at first because even though we wanted to try to really expound the concepts, no, on climate change outcomes, including specifically on its role in the yung sa health aspect, sana yung gusto din namin. Actually, yun yung parang original na atake namin is yung mga climate change outcomes that relates to the quality of air, 'di ba? Yung sa pollution, tsaka yung sa disease specifically, yung cases of malaria, 'di ba? Kasi it's also found out that malaria as well as dengue, there's a like possible connection with this climate change that is happening. The problem lang doon is that there were studies conducted on that, but it was not in the Philippines, so mostly from Japan. Yun. So parang sabi namin, so paano natin 'to gawin? Kasi parang gusto talaga din ni advisor since ang hirap naman, parang Pinoy tsaka yung gagawin namin na research, although it's in Asian region, just for the sake nga ma-capture namin yung original namin na atake, parang mas mahihirapan pa kami kasi 'di ba
Mm.
may mga aspect in Japanese na culture or ano yung mga other factors na hindi din naman namin alam. So yun, parang ni-revise namin hanggang inisa-isa namin dun sa initial screening namin na then usually yun yung mga nakikita namin is yung cases of typhoon specifically during dun sa Yolanda. So yun yung parang maraming mga publications na related to that. And because of that, so we tailored it down. So we find some literature. So there were uh, not necessarily direct like secondary, no. There was this paper published something in Luzon area, the cases of floods, no, brought about by the um, typhoon, and then it was on the relationship not only on mental health aspect but on mobility, no, yung pag-transfer, yung mga experiences ng mga tao after the disaster, anong andun na sila sa evacuation center.
Pero yung ano pala sir, yung connection between mental health and climate change, parang ano kasi, well, at first glance parang magkalayo sila na topic.
Oo.
So paano nagre-relate yung climate change dun sa mental health?
Oo. So from there, after na-define namin yung ano sir, yung after ng initial screening namin, ah, ano na lang, yung sa in-update na lang namin yung inclusion tsaka yung exclusion criteria. Kasi parang yung problema talaga kami dun sa literature. Tsaka kung meron man, ang problem din naman is usually yung mga intervention is yung post-disaster intervention. In short, parang tapos na. Doon ka pa nag intervene. So sa amin, parang nakita namin na may kulang dito, may gap. So yung parang nakita namin na gap is bakit hindi natin i-focus dun sa mga preventive measures. Although hindi natin makontrol yung bagyo, 'di ba? Yung flood or yung parang mga cases ng mga tao na nagma-migrate post-disaster, no? So yun, parang in-adjust na lang namin to the point that the context ng climate change outcomes by definition namin, operational definition namin, in majority, even the 32 publication, they included yung cases of floods as well as typhoons. Pero meron to sanang case of rising sea levels. However, the problem lang is wala tagin kaming nakita na connection with the concept of mental health aberration or mental or something with well-being of the Filipino people. So after we have those concepts defined, doon pa kami nag-start to find those anong mga mental health aberration, no? Kasi during a disaster, of course, it's automatic na yun parang din isa dun din sa pag-review ng paper namin na we have to define ano ba yung ibig sabihin natin dito. Kasi if we are putting it into context into disaster, parang misleading pag sinasabi mental health, 'di ba? Tsaka yung well-being. So parang nilagay din namin dun sa paper that this mental health context here are more of the mental health aberration or challenges, no, that compromise individual's quality of life, no? Parang nagkaano na siya, parang nagka-cascade na siya into culturally yung parang living in the community, no? Ano yung mga struggle nila na natutulog sila without their privacy, no? There was even a paper that really reported that there were women who were not necessarily abused pero parang because of that open na area sa mga evacuation center, they are high risk for harassments, no? So yung mga ganyan. So we also included that one. And it's not only about women but also about children and also yung ergonomics, no? Yung kalagayan nila doon na hindi talaga siya conducive, no? Kaya parang sasabihin mo na maraming mga, especially for the qualitative papers that we have included, sabi na talaga nila na kahit gupi-gupi na yung bahay nila compare sa evacuation center, mas gusto pa nilang bumalik sa bahay nila. So yun yung parang na-capture talaga din namin doon, as well as yung mga, for example, yung sa isang paper is yung tulog, no? The number of the quality or the quality of sleep. And also we have paper that tackles on alcohol abuse, no? There's reported na mas nag-increase yung consumption nila ng alcohol post-disaster, no? And when they were asked, they said that it's just a way of, but I think I have to clear it also because in cultural aspect, kasi yung paper is in Eastern Visayas. So culturally in Eastern Visayas, parang natural na talaga sa kanila yung 'di ba yung umiinom ng tuba, no? Kaya nga parang doon din sa paper namin, we never, parang hindi naman din namin sinabi na parang may association, no? Pero yung ano lang, yung parang hinighlight lang namin na there was an increase in the consumption, no? Pero in a way, looking that, there's also a light side of that, that despite that, yun yung nangyari sa kanila, pero yung parang inuman nila doon, no? During sa post-disaster, it was a way for them to parang catharsis moment sa kanila, no? To open up na ganito, ganyan. Pero most of the yung nakita talaga namin is that first talaga is yung there is a strong na tsaka negative na impact sa overall na mental health and well-being, most especially among women and also the children. And there was also an increase in mga post-traumatic stress disorder. And then also more we tackle also in the paper that these mental health challenges mas nag-increase talaga, mas more siya na-increase nung wala na talaga silang mabalikan na bahay, no? So yun, parang nag-a-adjust na naman sila to their new environment, and then from that environment, parang they started from, or not only if they were not be starting from the start, it's more of the complication about their relationship with their relatives, no? Wherein they live together there, no? Because of what happened. So yun, parang doon talaga din namin nakita na parang cascading yung effect niya. Yung parang hindi lang siya on the immediate na effect ng dahil sa frequent na mga bagyo or floods, but it's really more on the um, concepts of migration, tsaka yung mga eco-anxiety, no? Kasi marami din doon kita namin din sa mga reviews na um, yung concept ng eco-anxiety na before wala pa daw, pero after they experience those malevolent na mga typhoons, doon na sila na magsasabi na kailan na naman yung susunod, no? Parang natatakot na kami. So yun yung parang parang overall na summary ng paper namin. And aside from that, meron din na mga short-term na effect, no? Compromise on mental health, but also may mga talaga, yung mga long-term na mga pathways na identify din namin. Specifically on mga concepts of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Diyan pala sir, curious ako. Ano yung nagko-control sa response ng tao sa disaster? Natanong ko yan kasi may na-meet ako dito sa Japan habang nagpi-PhD ako. PhD student din siya, tapos kwento niya survivor siya nung 2004 na Sumatra earthquake and tsunami. Naano pa daw siya eh, parang nanonood daw siya ng TV tapos tinangay siya ng tsunami wave tapos nabangga siya sa building tapos umakyat siya dun sa pinakataas na floor. So ayun, nabuhay siya. Pero ngayon, yung inaral niya dito sa Japan, geophysics, so mga mapping ng mga faults, ganun-ganon. Tapos yung mga ibang guest din dito sa podcast, for them, naging malaking inspiration yung 1990 Luzon earthquake para mag-pursue sila ng geology. So, yung question ko dun, ano yung nagko-control sa ganong klaseng response na may na-encounter ka na disaster, parang ginamit mo siya na motivation, whereas on the other side, na-trauma ka and then nagkaroon siya ng negative effect sa'yo?
Actually sir, yun yung parang i-add ko. Actually yun pang din yung nakita namin kasi hindi naman lahat ng nakaka-experience ng yung mga negative na mga climate change outcomes ay puro na mga post-traumatic stress na yung na-experience nila. Doon din namin nakita kasi parang ano siya sir yung parang continuum. So yung stressor, it's either uh, it's on a positive or it's on a negative. So yun din, parang doon ko din nakita nga, ay hala, meron parang concept na ganito. So yun yung parang na-highlight din namin dito, specifically sa culture natin, na-highlight talaga yun. I think it was a case in, saan ba yun? Basta parang isa sa mga island, I think it was a study conducted by DOST. So it is like a qualitative focus group discussion. And most of their or some of I think the majority of the participants, since the household di ba usually yung naiiwan yung mga lola, di ba? So yun yung mga majority ng mga ano nila yung mga respondents. So although that area is frequently hit by typhoons, pero doon nakita yung parang sabi nila na mas na-strengthen pa yung pananampalataya nila, mas na-strengthen pa yung camaraderie within the community, yung pagtutulungan. So yun yung parang in connection yung sasabi mo earlier na may mga tao although they undergo traumatic experience pero despite of that they use it as a fuel or motivation. So in that aspect yun yung parang tinatawag sir na yung post-traumatic growth. So parang instead
May
parang yung
term pala
effect sa
talaga
kanila.
for that.
Oo, PTG yung tawag diyan. Kaya parang sarap parang ang sarap i-mainstream dito sa Pilipinas, no? Kasi parang sinasabi post-traumatic stress, pero dalawa pala yan. So, it's either post-traumatic stress disorder or post-traumatic growth. So, yun yung parang nakita na ang tao parang depende kasi yung ano niya yung coping mechanism niya. So, yung iba result into post-traumatic stress. Pero yung iba, although kahit ano na yung na-experience niya na dilubyo or ano ba yun, yung bagyo or experience niya post uh, typhoon, pero naging motivation niya to continue and do better in life. And I think yun yung parang hindi talaga mainstream, especially for us Filipinos, no? Tsaka may mga misconceptions I think also. Kasi sabi ng iba, ay yung post-traumatic growth, parang similar din lang ng concept ng resilience. Di ba? Ayun yung mga
Actually,
sinasabi
yan
nila.
din gusto ko sanang itanong, sir eh.
Oh, actually sir, yung resilience sir, yung normal state mo, no? Bumaba dahil sa trauma perhaps, no? Pero bumalik ka doon sa normal level mo. So yun parang yung resilience. Parang yun yung parang layman's term natin dun sa resilience is bouncing back. No? Parang bumalik ka
Okay.
dun sa ano mo, parang dito ka, bumaba, or bumalik ka dyan sa safe na level. Pero yung sa post-traumatic growth, sir, iba. Yung parang, parang sa same level ka, bumaba, pero parang after ka nag-stabilize, mas ano ka pa, mas nag-improve or you become more better person, no? And I think that's the connection with the individual that you knew that naka-experience dun sa flood in Japan na naging geographic kasi parang nakikita niya na inspiration na dahil na mag-aaral siya ng geophysics, makakatulong siya maraming tao. And also for the person na ano. So yun I think yung parang ano sir, yung parang nangyari. Parang naging motivation nila yung traumatic na experience nila. So yun.
Ayun. So I guess kailangan na natin wrap up. Nakakaisang oras na rin tayo.
Uh,
Siguro sir, ano, kwento mo sa amin paano mo ginawa yung review paper? Like, how do you read all the papers? Binabasa mo ba siya isa-isa or niloload mo kay ChatGPT? May sistema
actually,
ka? Ano?
okay. So yung nangyari doon, the good thing is that at that time, parang hindi na yun parang red alert yung Montreal. So I can go to sa UQAM, sa university. And doon, maganda din naman yung, kasi binigyan din ako ng maliit na office doon. May malakas na wifi, tsaka may libreng kape. Tsaka may ano pa, may parang sofa na pwede kang humiga. Eh sabi ko, as in parang nakita ko talaga na very conducive talaga siya. So, ayun, parang doon lang ako tatambay. Ang kagandahan din doon sa style nila doon is that parang hindi ka nape-pressure. Parang, pero yun din yung nakikita ko na kung ganyan lang yung ipapakita mo na interest or yung motivation mo, parang doon din ang ibibigay ng advisor mo. Pero kung yung sabi ko sa sarili ko na if I wanted to max out my experience here, although it's only 8 months, so I have to, paano ba yun? Yung parang maximize talaga yung sa time. So yung ginawa ko, at least hindi na din naman yun, parang papunta na yun sa springtime. So yun yung maganda kasi yung problem lang talaga yung winter. Kasi yung winter parang nakakapagod mag-travel, ganyan. Pero nung springtime na yun namin na nagsa-start na talaga kami na magko-collate ng mga literature. So, after reading parang hindi din naman yung parang concept ng Eating the Elephant yung ginawa namin na ngayong araw anong pili natin magawa. So, ginide din naman ako ng advisor ko. So, yun parang at first parang information overload. Eh, gino-joke ko sa kanya lagi na parang nagdurugo na yung brain ko dahil sa information. Pero I realized that the strategy na ginagawa niya, yung parang ina-overload ka, yung rationale pala yun is that kahit pauwi na ako yung sa subway, nakaupo lang ako pero parang nagfa-flashback yung mga key points nung sa binasa ko, yung sa na-discuss namin. So yun, yung parang ano lang, it was very systematic. Yung ginawa namin doon at that time, wala pa yung ChatGPT. So the good thing with them is we can access all the manuscript, no? Kasi may
Mga
university account. I think that was
subscriptions.
real. Yes, I think sir, doon ko talaga masabi sir that yung access mo to those resources, no, especially for
Ah,
those paper, yung mga quality paper, ma-access mo is one really isang factor talaga that really contributed in the quality of the paper namin. So yun, parang every afternoon bago kami umuwi, parang we have a short presentation, no, ano na yung update. Then specifically kung yung mga gusto niyang mga i-add or i-revise. So yun, parang mentoring talaga, one-on-one mentoring. So yun.
before we let you go sir, ano yung ma-advise mo sa mga aspiring researchers?
Okay, so for mga aspiring researchers, I think the first thing is that resources. Resources first for literature. For me, that's a big factor kasi the quality of the paper that you read really contributes talaga. So I think yun talaga yung isa sa mga pinaka-importante. After you have a very good resources is the mentor. Ang hirap maghanap ng mentor. And myself, I'm so grateful even up to this time. that I was able to meet my advisor, no? And even up to this time, we still work on some projects. Kasi yung mentor importante, yung ano niya, yung parang skills niya or parang ano yung maibigay sa iyo, tsaka yung parang chemistry niyo ng mentor mo. It's really a big
Yes, yes.
factor. On my end, it was very easy for me, although I'm not kasi hindi siya talagang magaling din mag-English eh. French talaga siya. So yun yung nakita ko na advantage, that despite that may communication barrier kami at times, pero because of his attitude tsaka yung pakikitungo niya, parang yung language hindi naging barrier sa akin na maka-learn. And then pangatlo is the value of interdisciplinary research. I think ito na yung marami ng mga, kasi parang example in my case, although I'm in the health sector, pero having projects with engineers from or other disciplines, mas nagiging ano yung output niyo eh. Yung perspective mas deep, tsaka yung ano yung pagtingin sa research problem niyo mas naging clearer, no? And then also is to really conduct research na ano talaga, no? Especially sa mga climate uh, predisposed na individual, no, for our vulnerable groups, yun. And also community members or mga participants, hindi lang natin sila yung parang we will not do research na parang may introduce tayo kasi we think that is the ideal or based on literature ito yung makakabuti sa kanila, no? May ibang ganyan eh. So we really have to go to the realities of the ground, kasi doon mo talaga mai-improve mo yung not only yung critical thinking or yung research skills mo, but also yung pagka-comprehend mo dun sa research na ginagawa mo. And the last, but I think this is the most important, is to really have yung research question mo, yung clarity ng aims tsaka yung objectives. Yun talaga yung for me, yung pinaka importante. Kasi kahit anong research pa yung gagawin mo, anong statistics pa yung gagamitin mo, pero yung objectives mo parang,
Hindi malinaw.
so I think yun lang sir. Oh, yes sir, I do agree on that sir.
Ayun. And last question, sir. Do you have anything to promote?
Okay. um I don't necessarily have to promote, but encourage na everyone, especially for those na may gustong i-submit na mga papers. So I'm also part of the editorial board member of West Visayas State University Research Journal, specifically sa track on allied health sciences. But also we also have track for agriculture, forestry, education. So we encourage you to submit to our journal. No? Tutulungan tayo. So everybody here in our research journal will help improve your paper. Yeah. I think yun lang siguro, sir.
Echo ko lang din yung advocacy din namin dito sa podcast na mag-submit kayo ng paper sa mga local journals natin. Kasi
Yes,
same
exactly.
same process lang din naman yun kapag nag-submit kayo internationally. Yung pinagkaiba lang may bayad lang usually dun sa
Yeah.
dun sa mga international
I think
journals. Pero same review process lang din yan.
I think sir, yun talaga din yung parang mga hindi maintindihan, no? Especially for the new researchers, that
Yes.
sometimes you don't need to really go out no first, pero marami tayong mga local journals na can really help improve your paper.
Usually bragging rights lang yung nakukuha mo pag sa sa mga international journals. Pero ganun lang din
Oo.
naman ipapublish mo. Pero lang, take note lang sa mga nagsa-submit, mga medyo bago pa lang sa research. Kung
Oo.
iwasan yung mag-submit sa mga predatory journal, no? Kasi karamihan sa mga
Yun din sir.
so-called international journals, baka
Yes, I do
predatory
agree on
yan.
that, sir.
Mag-submit na lang kayo sa local journals, mas maganda pa yan.
Oo, and I think even in, sa ano namin dito, yung sa NBC or yung sa reclassification namin, yung mga university research journal are ano din naman, recognized by CHED 'no, for our reclassification. So yun yung parang mga misconstrued na idea na you have to go directly to yung mga you have to pay for APCs na ilang ano,
Hmm.
if titignan mo, we have a lot of local journals na mas makakatulong pa sa'yo to improve the paper. Kasi it's not really ano din naman, eh, 'di ba? Try to see your paper submitted in Western ano perspective, and then you're writing or submitting a manuscript that specifically focuses on local context, 'di ba? So yun yung parang nakikita ko talaga na advantage specifically on the local, no, especially if your context is in Philippine, like in
Ah,
social
yes.
sciences, mas gaganda pa yung paper mo.
Yung nangyayari kasi diyan 'di ba sir ano, yung magre-review most likely Pinoy din na mas may knowledge
Oo,
sa kultura kaysa mga foreigners yung mag-review.
oo. O kasi I do agree on that, sir. Kasi sabi nga ng advisor ko, he can write the paper on his own. Yun yung sabi niya sa akin. However, there are this soft aspect of the paper that I cannot hindi niya ma-relate, hindi niya maintindihan. Like for example, yung ano, yung parang inuman, no? Just
Hmm.
the chill numan concept. Although nag-iinuman din naman sila, pero yung description talaga dun sa paper is really yung cultural context natin. So, they find it very ano ba yun? Parang iba sa culture nila. Parang sabi nila na, "Ay talaga? Nag-aano pa diyan, umuupo lang tsaka nakahubad pa ng damit." Ganyan, ganito. Yes, that's how we do it, 'no? Oo. So yun yung parang mga subtleties, and maganda talaga yung parang contextualization.
Ayun, so I guess hanggang dito na lang muna tayo. So maraming salamat kay Sir Resty sa pagpapa-unlock ng aming imbitasyon at maraming salamat sa lahat ng nakinig at nanood. See you everyone sa next episode. Madami pa tayong pag-uusapan na research na ginagawa ng ating mga Pinoy scientists.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for the opportunity na ma-share itong paper namin, 'no? Yung parang naging um, putting it into the mainstream. No? Kasi ito din yung nakikita kong gaps, especially sa Philippine context. Hindi masyadong dinidiscuss yung mga research
Ah,
papers,
mga
or I don't
research
know
ng mga
if
Pinoy.
from the non-academic perspective, maybe ibang tao find it intimidating. Pero actually, kung titignan mo siya having this type of podcast, doon mo makikita pala na, ay, ala, yun pala yun. Mas maganda pala 'to kaysa TikTok lang, 'di ba? Yung parang
Ah,
ganyan.
tsaka mas mabilis maintindihan kapag somehow may narinig ka na konting concept and then binasa mo. So, parang mas madali siya.
Oo.
Ayun. So, thank you po Sir Resty.
Thank you din, sir. Thank you very much.